Hey y'all, we've been gone a couple of weeks because, the hurricane, but it's glad to be back. Episode 2 of the Brett Beard Show. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jules. Thanks for having me on today.
Yep. Okay, so we had the jamboree before the hurricane, so let's just talk a couple of things about that. What went well at the jamboree, and what did our team do well?
Well, I think once again, going back and looking at the preseason, our scrimmage with Woodlawn was a success just because we got to be on the field with some stud football players, some 4- or 5-star guys there, some athletes. What I think is going to be one of the top teams in 5A in Woodlawn this year. And then you flip around and you play a Walker, a rivalry game in this parish for the jamboree, which is it's just a half, it's just a taste of what's to come. But for our guys to be on the field with those type players and then turn around and get in that rivalry setting and atmosphere, I think was a huge success. I thought we played well. I thought we got physical. I thought we played with a little attitude and a little aggression, and definitely had a lot of things to grow on from there and had some great momentum as we rode into the hurricane, only for us to come out and be in a really good spot.
Last Friday we played East Iberville, so let's get into those highlights. Your Yellow Jackets take the field for our first home opener, also our first game in a long time where we were able to have a full crowd, and we're donning the new helmets. First play of the game, East Iberville pinned near the goal line. Number 4, Devin Jones tackled in the end zone, safety, 2-0 Jackets. Denham on offense now. QB number 1, Reese Mooney, pass to number 3, Cameron Irick, who slips a tackle, breaks a couple more, and runs to the sideline for a big touchdown, 9-0 Jackets. Coach, let's break that one down.
Well, it's just a lot of fun to see a kid like that who just needed to have some success. And, he's had some preseason struggles and had some ups and downs, and all he needs is this confidence booster to get him going. I mean, a big, pretty physical kid. Really excited about his play going forward, and you can see he's got some playmaking ability.
Yes, sir. The team got really hyped after that, and Cameron showing his emotion. All right, East Iberville QB number 1, Darren Thomas' pass would actually be intercepted and returned for a touchdown by number 2, Jordan Reams. Jackets go up 16-0. Coach, let's look at that one.
Well, the biggest thing is Jordan Reams coming back from an injury. He's been out for a few weeks because of a finger and had to have some pins put in it. And, here he is with an opportunity to play. Comes in, makes a quick impact to our program and to the game.
Yeah, this was carrying our momentum into our next drive. East Iberville now punting, and number 7, Micah Harrison, catches it, fields it, jukes a man, slips out of a tackle, hits the sideline, and runs straight up for another Yellow Jackets touchdown, 23-0. Coach, what happened here?
Yeah, I mean, we had an opportunity to make a play. Ball's kicked to him. He does the toughest part right there. He fields the punt. And then he makes the first man miss, and he gets into the wall, gets into where our guys are doing their job, setting it up, and you can see they usher him right in. Big play for Micah. A lot of fun to watch that kid play.
Yes, sir. After a couple of penalties, Jackets would have a second down and 52. Number 1, Reese Mooney, handoff to number 4, Cam Kelly, who gains some of those yards back, gets hit hard and brought to the ground. Next play, Jackets now have a long 3rd and 34. Number 1, Reese Mooney, deep pass downfield to number 7, Micah Harrison, again for another Yellow Jackets touchdown, 30-0. Coach, let's break that play down too.
Well, I mean, let's start with the sloppy play that put us there. Had a couple penalties, put us in a situation that you don't hardly ever see, and put our back against the wall, and we had to make a play and dig out of it, and we did just that, something that's a big change around here.
Yes, sir. You can really see the confidence of our team changing this year. There's our student section. Second quarter now. Jackets driving. Number 1, Reese Mooney, handoff to number 5, Ray McNeely, with a nice gain to get us closer into the goal line. Then number 1, Reese Mooney with the read, keeps it himself and runs it in for a touchdown. Coach, let's talk about the decision-making of this play.
Well, and it's a football player being a football play because technically he's supposed to give that. But because we read so much, he took advantage of what he saw. He saw that end out there, not crash, kind of just sit out there on the island, and, he pulled and had the opening, and he did just what he was supposed to do as a football player.
Now up 37-0. Jackets would go on offense again. QB number 17, Ryder Wygant, hand off to number 5, McNeely, who scores easily to make it 44-0 Denham. Kickoff by number 29, Noah Hood, drives it deep to Travion Perkins. He runs for a bit and then gets stripped by number 14, Ethan Foster. Jackets ball. Coach, let's look at this special teams play.
Yeah, any chance you get to get the ball back on special teams and make a play just like that, he's showing the belt because he's got an opportunity to get the turnover belt. Those plays are demoralizing. We lost a lot of games on special teams last year, and it's time for us to flip it around.
Yes, sir. The whole sideline was hyped about that play, and you can see him get the turnover belt, and he's going crazy on the sideline. That brings momentum into our next drive, where number 1, Reese Mooney, would have a touchdown pass to number 3, Cameron Irick, for his second touchdown of the game. 51-0, Denham Springs at halftime. Celebrating, getting hyped for his second touchdown. Coach Beard. Fourth quarter now, number 18, Jerry Horn, handoff to running back number 33, Jeremiah Sam, who breaks a tackle, cuts back the other way, loses the ball, but is recovered in the end zone by the Yellow Jackets. Touchdown, 58-0. That would be the final score of the game. Coach?
Yeah, you talk about exciting. Look at the student section. Look at the way our guys, the energy, the excitement on the sideline. This is really the reason I came to Denham Springs. I've always been in love with what I saw on this side of the stadium, and the student section, and the fan support, and the community. And this is what I always wanted.
Yes, sir. Denham Springs 58, East Iberville 0. Reese Mooney 4 for 4, 159 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. Micah Harrison, 3 receptions for 89 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 punt return for a touchdown. Cameron Irick, 2 receptions, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. All right, Coach. Obviously, our offense dominated in this game, so can we just talk about what went right with our offense?
Well, I think any opportunity that you have to go out and play for Denham Springs, that is something we've been preaching. It's a big deal to us this year to take advantage of it, because you now know more than ever how quick these things can go. You look at last year with the COVID situation, you look at Hurricane Ida and losing the Mandeville game. If you don't take advantage of every opportunity you have and do the job that you've prepared yourself to do, you can lose, and you can lose a lot, because it's not like losing one game on a Monday, being able to turn around on a Wednesday. You lose a week's worth of work in one of 10 opportunities to play. So, that's one of the big deals. When we go out and do our job, we're asking our guys to do it at a level and a standard they've yet to ever do. So here was the opportunity to go out against East Iberville, who has been a perennial power in 1A. And, PowerPoint-wise, it makes no sense for us to not play them. Because they're going to win some games. They're a successful program. And I personally like to play different people, but also, those kids they don't choose to live there. Mom and dad and family puts them there. So who's to say they can't get on a stage of 5A and show what they can do? And I like the opportunity to play anybody and everybody, and somebody new. And Coach Joseph at East Iberville is a good friend of mine, but I got a lot of respect for him through the business. I've gotten to know him, and I think he does a phenomenal job. And really, I just wanted to play somebody different. And the way we started, the way our offense started, I was other than the penalties, we made the penalties right by making the big plays. But, we came out, we executed, we got physical, and that's what I want to see our guys do. That's how we're going to grow Denham Springs and get that attitude back that's been lacking here for a while.
Flipping it over to the other side of the ball, our defense played really well, and we had a couple of turnovers and a lot of stops. So what was the game plan going in?
Well, I think we all know, if you look back on last year, we struggled defensively. I think we tried to do too much too fast, and I think our heads were spinning, and by the time you back up and try to start over, it's just too late, and we struggled, and we were weak on the edges and gave up a lot of big plays, more so than I've ever done in my career. And I think backing up and going slower and making a couple changes, simplifying so our guys can be the athletes that they are and go play. I think you've seen that so far. I thought we did some great things in the scrimmage versus Woodlawn. You turn around, you give up the first big play versus Walker, which is a little reverse for them on play 1 to start the jamboree. Well, after that, you saw we were slamming the door on them there. They weren't able to get a whole lot going. And then here again, you turn around after a hurricane break. And you just see us continue to grow our defense and be disciplined, be where we're supposed to be. And now we're starting to make plays and tackle better than we have in the past. And I think with our back end, with our corners and everything tying to the front end with the D-line and just the guys we have in those spots doing those jobs make this a lot of fun to watch grow, and they're only going to get better.
Yes, sir. And I remember whenever we were looking at the highlights, you said our special teams was also something that we struggled with last year. So how do you see that change this year?
Yeah, we had no other option but to be better. Special teams has got to be an X factor. We lost a game for sure versus Live Oak with special teams. We gave up some big plays last year, and that's something we really focused on in the offseason to take that advantage back and use that to our advantage. Bridge the gap and all the time we spend offense and defense and get the special teams rolling. And we're going to focus on playing a lot more of our players there, get those guys experience on the field in those situations, and just really make special teams special again.
Yes, sir. And I know a big part of any offense or defense is the O-line and D-line. So how do you think the trenches played in this game?
Yeah, I tell our guys all the time, ultimately we're going to go where you take us, talking to the O-line. Being a D-lineman, I got a lot of respect and love for O-linemen, but we're ultimately going to go where they take us. They got to pave the way, they got to pave the road, and we got to trust them to be behind them and follow them wherever they take us. And they're only going to get better every day. You can watch the growth there between Coach Fleming and Coach Adam White, who we added as another O-line coach this year, a guy that I had at Live Oak with me, then went to St. Thomas More, wins a state championship, brings that knowledge and experience back to us here in Livingston Parish at Denham Springs. Our O-line's only going to get better, and have shown that every play, every chance to play so far. And really their camaraderie and them gelling is going to continue to take us, places that we haven't been in a long time. D-line, you got to win the physical battle. You got to disrupt a lot of timing. And, Alex Chandler and Porter Gibson and Dylan Watson and Chris Thomas and, guys like that right now that are going in for us are doing everything that we're asking them to do at a very high level.
Yes, sir. So how do you think we controlled the pace of the game? Do you think we did it well, or?
Yeah, a lot of times, controlling the pace of the game is not just clock management. It's also riding the ups and downs, the momentum of the game, the penalties of the game, the discipline of the game. I think if we can go out and always set the tone, we found ourselves in the past a lot of times looking for that momentum to swing in our direction, always pressing to make a play to make the momentum swing in our direction. And really right now, we're just going out and playing. And, I think if you go out and you play the game sound and you do what you're taught to do and you execute and you have a lot of fun flying around, being nasty, doing your job, I think the momentum of the game can shift and stay with us, which ultimately is going to lead to the control of the tempo of the game and everything we're wanting to do. And you kind of take your opponent and put them against the ropes instead of us being against the ropes like we were most of the time last year.
Yes, sir. And pointing out a couple of specific players, how have you seen Reese grow from last year to this year?
Well, I think physically the kid's as good as anybody. This state is producing a lot of quarterbacks right now, and I think physically he's as good as any of them. But you forget that he is still just a junior. He only started half the year as a sophomore last year, which was a COVID year, which was a crazy year, which is also going to tie into his ability to be special because he's going to be able to handle any and everything that's thrown his way. I think Reese is, he's a real student of the game, which mentally, in the locker room, the leadership, those things are growing at a very rapid pace with him. He's been completely different in the last couple of weeks. And a lot of that's going to come with growth and experience. And, you ever tie that, the mental side of the game, the student side of the game, in with the physical attributes that he's obviously been blessed with, I think the kid's got a chance to be very special, and he's on his way.
Yes, sir. And you alluded to this earlier, but what was wrong with the discipline of this game? We had a lot of penalties.
Yeah, you look back on some of it. They can always go both ways. Officials are humans, and they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to have their opinions on different things. And whether I agree or disagree, it was penalized. And sometimes when the ball's by you, you got to let your hands down. You don't always have to finish with mauling somebody, even though you teach that and want that. But there just comes a time when with the penalties and some of the things we did. The play is at that point is over. Just let it be. Discipline is on me, and that's my job to get corrected. And I can tell you, we've worked on getting that cleaned up, and we'll continue to do so. And my big thing with penalties are that's part of the game. As long as we don't go into the selfish penalties. I'm not big on the personal fouls, the hitting late, the hitting after the whistle, the cheap, dirty crap that you sometimes see in football. That's not Denham Springs, and that's not my program. And we're going to be disciplined, and we're going to do some things with class. And as long as we stay away from the selfish penalties, and we're just a penalty on a hold or something, trying to do our job at a high level. It's high school; they're kids. It's going to happen, but penalties are on me. That's a representation of my ability to do my job, and we're always going to get that cleaned up.
Yes, sir. So let's look forward to this week. We play Cecelia away. So how do you think the momentum is coming out of this big blowout win into next week? Yeah,
like I said, man, you more so than now, kids better recognize the fact that football, it can be taken from you in a minute, and so every opportunity you have to go out and play, because it's a special breed to play this game, because in essence, with a calendar year, you train for 355 days to play for 10. So when one is taken from you, you realize how much it hurts. And, every opportunity you have to go out and execute, put on Denham Springs, play the game at a high level at the standard I'm asking you to play at. I think the momentum is high right now, and I think it's going to continue to skyrocket. What a real testament to our program will be how we handle the ups and the downs. And Cecelia is a very formidable opponent, top 10 in the state in 4A, and it's going to be a test on the road that ultimately we're going to have to accept and conquer anyway, because you win a state championship on the road. And Cecelia is just the next piece of the puzzle for us to continue to grow Denham Springs football.
Yes, sir. What's the confidence from our team like?
Yeah, I mean, we're having fun. I've never been that guy in the past to be the turnover belt guy. I've always kind of just blew it off. But when you really sit back and you see the attitude and the energy it brings to your kids in the sideline, and more so the fun, sometimes we forget how fun this game is. And I've had a blast actually watching them and making sure they take advantage of that belt and having a little energy, get up on the bench and show it to the crowd. Sometimes in our job we get so serious, and I guess the pressures of the job amount so much that you forget that. And I got a bunch of kids, and we're just having fun playing a game, and I want to kind of get back to that. And like I said, I've just never been that guy before until now, and I love what it's brought. I love the energy that comes with it, and I love the pride. I think you see a big shift in pride in a lot of things we're doing because of the fun we're having and the executing our job.
So who are some key players on Cecilia's team that we need to look out for? Well,
I just think they're a good team. They're a good football team. Dennis Gaines is a guy that's been successful just about everywhere he's been. He turned South Lafourche around. When I was at Destrehan, I think he was coming into South Lafourche when I was at Destrehan. Then I came to Woodlawn, but from afar I watched him turn that program around. He's a guy that puts together a tough team. They're going to be a physical team. They got some skilled guys. They got a quarterback who I like a lot, who runs their offense, and they got a couple of dudes that if they can get the ball in their hands in space, they're very scary. I think Coach Gaines is more of a defensive guy just by the way this program is run. By their attitude and the way they play. And I'm really excited just to go to that atmosphere. They got a nice stadium. They got nice new turf. It's really, they're top 10 in 4A, which is a big-time opponent. And I'm just really excited to go take our brand of football over to that area and play somebody different.
Are there any players who you think might have a breakout game next week, or anybody that's going to do really well?
Yeah, I think you got to continue to ride the waves of, Cameron Irick and Micah Harrison, and I think it's time for Ray McNeely to really blow up onto the scene as a running back for us, a guy he's been slow and steady. He's kind of due for one of those games where, he just blows up and. We're nicked up in a couple of spots, so we're going to get the opportunity to see some young guys at linebacker and Jonas Clark and Seth Bishop. You hate to see kids get hurt, but then that door closes and another door opens, and all these other kids you've gotten to know and these young kids you've worked with, well, their doors open, and so you want to see them take advantage of that opportunity and really just get to show what they've been doing and what they've been working on. And I just want to continue to grow this team and our ability to do our job at a very high level and play the right game, aggressive game, and beat Denham Springs again.
Speaking of which, the injuries, how are Ford McDaniel and Jude Horn?
Ford is, he nicked up his knee. We thought it was worse than what it was. He's really bounced back. Tough kid. Really excited. I watched him move around and. Friday night, he got out at some guard, and I watched him move around on a screen and run downfield, and he didn't have that little giddy up, that little hitch in his step, which made me feel a lot better. And he's had a great week of practice so far, and you could tell he's moving around a lot better. So he's going to be good. Jude is kind of the heart of our defense. He's a captain. kind of the brains of the operation. He's going to be a tough blow to us. He's not going to be able to go this week. Hopefully we get him back next week, but realistically, we just need him back for in a couple of weeks when we start this district gauntlet. But he's got a low ankle sprain, which is good. But also a tough kid. He's going to do everything the doctors ask of him, the trainers ask of him, and he's going to be right there helping Seth and Jonas and some young guys that have the opportunity not to replace him but to fill his shoes. And he's going to be right there in their ear helping them. And like I said, he's just kind of the heart of our defense, and that's going to be a tough blow to overcome. But he's going to be right there with us, and I'm excited to see our kids go play.
Thank you for joining us, Coach. As for Brett Beard, I'm Jules Dormain. We'll see you next time.